This is video 2 in the Name project series. So you can see that I continued the project and I now have a photograph inside every letter of my name. So if I open up the Layers panel and look at it, I have all of the letters and then a photograph for each letter. So what I'm going to do now is put some finishing touches on this image. So I'm going to go ahead and select the background layer, and I'm going to make a gradient just to give it a little bit more color. So I'm going to open my swatches panel, and you can see right now my colors are black and white over here in my toolbox. So I think I'm going to, maybe I'm going to choose a blue. So I'm going to open up my layers panel here, or swatches, and go down, and I'm going to click maybe a nice soft blue here on top. I'm going to click the little switch arrow, and then I'm going to get a darker, how about there? So I want a little bit of contrast between them. So I'm going to close my swatches. I'm going to get the gradient tool, which sometimes is hidden under the paint bucket. So click and hold and grab the gradient tool. For my computer, the correct gradient is already selected, but it won't necessarily be like that for your computer depending on whoever used it before you. So I'm going to click to open this little menu here and make sure that the first one is selected. That way it will use the colors that you just chose. Then over here I'm going to make sure that the first one is selected here, which is the linear gradient. You might try, just for the fun of it, experimenting with the other gradients and see how those turn out too. So with the linear gradient, and I do have the background selected in my layers panel, I'm just going to go ahead and click and drag a line on this. And there's not really that much gradation, so I'm going to try higher and click again. That's better. Yeah, I like that. So I wanted it to be a little darker at the top and lighter at the bottom. Now the other thing is that I think I could make these letters stand out more if I had a stroke around them. A stroke is a fancy name for an outline. So I'm going to go ahead and open up my layers panel and tear it off, and I'm going to go to the J. I'm going to go click on the FX button and click the word stroke. So then I get the stroke options. The default color is black, but I think I want kind of a bright blue color that will go with my background. So I'm going to double click this, and I'm going to, you'll notice that when I move the cursor over, I can actually click on this blue and select it, but I want a darker, richer blue. I think that looks pretty good right there. So I'm going to click OK. And that line's a little bit thick. I'm going to try size 2. Size 2 looks better. And then I'm going to click OK. Now, rather than doing that over and over again for every letter of my name, I'm just going to right click on Effects and go to, where is it? Copy Layer Style. Then I'm going to click on the U, hold down Shift, and click on the E. So that selected everything in between the U and the E. Now I'm going to right click on the E and paste layer style. So what that did was put it on all the rest of the letters in one easy step. Now the other thing that I'm going to do is add my last name. So I'm going to click on the top layer, and I want my last name to be this dark blue that I selected. So I'm going to get the eyedropper tool and I'm going to click on the dark blue. There. So you can see that showed up in my little paint palette chip down here at the bottom. Now I'm going to get the text tool. I'm going to click down here and write Smith. Oh, and that's the font that I wanted too. So I like Maestro, and size 130 works out great, so I'm going to click the check mark, get the move tool and move this. I think that looks pretty good, that overlap right there. So looks pretty good. I think that the Smith needs to pop off a little bit more from the background. So I'm going to open up the layers panel, make sure Smith is selected, go to FX, and this time I'm going to choose drop shadow. And that looks pretty good. I can click right on the shadow and move it around however I want it. That looks good. If it's too dark or too light, the opacity is 75%, so you could make it less. Yeah, I like it better around 50%. I think that looks pretty good. I'm going to click OK. And I'm actually going to put that drop shadow on the rest of the letters too. So I'm going to right click and copy layer style. I'm going to click the E, hold down Shift, click the J, so everything in between is selected. I'm going to right click and paste layer style. Oops, that got rid of my stroke. So I'm going to undo that, Control Z, and it looks like I will have to do that one at a time. So I don't think I'm going to take the time to do that right now. But that is the finished product. So you can go ahead and save that, save your changes, make sure you save a copy as a JPEG and put it in your web portfolio under your Photoshop section. And that's it for now.